Hi there, welcome to our One Planet Week cookery demonstration. I'm Andrew Wood, I'm Food Development Manager at the University of York.
I'm David Martin, Executive Head Chef.
And on this session we're going to concentrate on local ingredients, locally sourced, using local Yorkshire suppliers and based on the vegetarian theme. As we'll go through it, we'll talk about how we can add a bit of a twist to it and maybe turn it into vegan, but that's what we're going to do today. Alright, so I'm going to do the main course, which is a lovely pearl barley spelt risotto with winter root vegetables with beetroot, and I'm going to finish that off and start that, and then Dave will tell you about, he's going to cover the starter and he's going to cover the dessert, which he'll tell you about now.
Sure, yeah, so I'm going to be using a winter vegetable salad, and we're going to pan fry and deglaze using some Henderson's Relish based here in Yorkshire. We're going to finish that with some Yorkshire fine fettle, and then we're going to make a very simple local honey Yorkshire granola and Yorkshire rhubarb granola dessert pot. So I'll leave you to your risotto, chef.
Thank you. So risotto takes probably about 15-20 minutes to make, so I'm going to start that and I'm going to dip in and out of that. So I'll start it, go through that, and Dave will jump on his starter and we'll do his dessert. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about the ingredients we're going to use. So I mentioned earlier, the great thing about risotto is it's what I call a store cupboard dish, where as long as you've got some risotto in your cupboard, you can just put together just about any type of risotto. Vegetable risotto, vegetarian risotto, and just use basically what you've got in there, veg-wise, onions, peppers, that type of thing. Today, a bit of a twist to it, we're going Yorkshire, and I'm going to use a pearl barley spelt risotto. So pearl barley is what an ancient Roman grain used to use years and years ago, and this is a really healthy, this is all the husk of the pearl barley, and this has gone through some rollers, some stone rollers, and we ended up with a lovely pearl barley spelt. It's the same as risotto, just needs a little bit more extra cooking, that's all. So we'll go through that a little bit later. Alright, so the ingredients I'm going to put in it, I've got some vegetable stock here. Now that's important, that's on the stove and it's ticking away, because the secret to a good risotto, lots of stirring and lots of steam, but again I'll show you how to do that. Right. So in my risotto, and these aren't compulsory ingredients, but the ingredients that you really need to start it off. So I've got some butter, got some Yorkshire butter, some chopped shallot, some chopped local shallot. I'm going to put some chopped garlic in the risotto as well, a bit of chopped celery. I've got some Yorkshire fettle to finish it with. If you want to go vegan, you can do some lovely vegan cheeses as well. And the fettle just holds itself a little bit as well, but you can put some mozzarella in if you so choose. A bit of chopped thyme and rosemary, chopped parsley to finish, and some spring onion tops as well, just to add to garnish. I'm going to put some, I've already mentioned veg stock, I've got some lovely beetroot juice here to give it a lovely earthy wintry flavour, and in the oven I put some roast veg in earlier. So here I'm just going to garnish the risotto with these lovely local Yorkshire roasted carrots and roasted parsnips, but you can put the veg in as well, and they've just been blanched, and that's a chefy term for into some boiling hot water, a couple of minutes, refreshed in cold water, onto a tray, some more rosemary and garlic and thyme, olive oil in the oven. So I'm just going to pop them in the oven so they're nice and ready for when I finish the dish. So, I did mention the first thing we do, lots of stirring, lots of heat to risotto. So the first thing I want to do is get my pan on. A knob of butter, what I mean by that, I don't know, 20 grams, a couple of ounces of butter in there. I've got my veg stock on with a simmer array, again, which is nice and hot, so that just wants to be ticking away. It's a nice, strong veg stock. So, turn the heat up on your risotto pan. And you do want a nice sized pan. A sauté pan is ideal as well, but not too small a pan. You need to get lots of heat in there, lots of steam, so a fairly large pan is ideal. So I'm just melting my butter in there. And as the butter's melting, in with the chopped shallots. And it really is a one-pan dish, that's what makes it really simple. So the chopped shallots have gone in, the chopped garnish has gone in, and my chopped celery. So that's what we call the aromats, the sort of the vegetables, the chopped vegetables. Give that a good stir. See nice high heat there. And all that is mixing just quite nicely in there, all mixing nicely with the butter. If you wanted to go vegan, you can add oil, or you could add like a vegan margarine as well. So once that's stirred for a minute or two, in go your herbs. And then the all-important risotto. So you want about a cupful of risotto per portion. Okay, I'm just going to give that a stir, and all I'm doing there is mixing the grains with all my lovely vegetables there. And that just wants stirring for about 30 seconds. Okay, so let that cook for a little bit longer. A little bit of salt and pepper. There. About a pinch of each. And as the shallots, the garlic and the celery is softened, and as I've coated the pearl barley in the butter, that's softened a little bit as well, I'm going to start adding my stock. And the secret here, you don't add all your stock at once, you add it ladle by ladle, and any type of grain risotto absorbs the moisture of the stock slowly but surely, and you keep adding the stock, and as you add it, the risotto absorbs it, and you just stop as it's just cooked. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I've got my stock nice and hot. First ladle, again there, lots of steam, lots of bubbling, and you just keep stirring that until it absorbs each stock. Okay. Now this takes about 15-20 minutes to slowly add all the stock and cook the risotto. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep stirring my risotto, keep adding my stock. Dave will start it, and we'll come back to my risotto and I'll just finish it off.
Thanks, Andrew. So before we do the starter, actually there's a couple of bits I want to do for the dessert first. So we need to cook them and then let them cool down so we can use them in our dessert. So first of all, we're going to roast off some of this fantastic Yorkshire rhubarb. So we're just entering now the rhubarb season. You can see a fantastic colour there. Perfect for the winter months of the year, just coming out of winter. And this is grown in Yorkshire, world-renowned Yorkshire forced rhubarb, and you get that beautiful colour. We're just going to drizzle it with a tiny bit of local honey, which I've got over here somewhere, and that will bake very quickly in a hot oven for about 8 minutes. So when we take it out of the oven, it will still be hot, and as it cools down, it will finish cooking. So when we add it later on to our granola, we don't want it hot, so we want to get this done early and allow it to cool down so we can chop it up and use it. So I'll pop that in the oven. In the other oven. The next component we want to do early for our dessert is you just want to toast off some oats. And what we want to do is we want to make like a bit of a quick granola. If you've got a granola in your store cupboard, then you can just go ahead and use it. But we're going to make our own. It's just 3 ingredients. It's toasted oats. We're going to toast them dry, and then as they begin to colour a little bit, we add a tiny bit of butter and a tiny bit of honey, and that will glaze them and make them go a deeper brown colour. And then we'll allow that to cool down as well. And once that's cool again, we can layer that with our rhubarb. So I'll do that on a low heat there. And while that's happening with our oats, we'll move on to our winter salad. So as you can see over here, I've got quite a big frying pan. You want a big pan if you can, because as we add our veg to this, if it's a shallow pan and the veg is crowded together, it will steam in its own liquid. So it's quite important if you can to get a big pan, and you'll get that drier cooking so that the vegetables that we have aren't soggy. So we have our pan on a nice large heat, hot heat rather, and we're just moving on to some lovely winter produce here that we've got. And in winter we've got these fantastic colours. We've got baby kalettes, which have got a nice purple. I've got some ruby chard or winter coloured chard here. I've taken the stems off and chopped them separately because they take a bit longer to cook. I've got a fantastic chicory or endive. There's a little bit of bitterness in the flavour with the endive, but we're going to use the honey again, incorporating it into all of our courses, and that will sweeten it up. I've got some toasted seeds. I've just toasted these earlier, a mixture of sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and we just toast them in a hot oven for a few minutes and then allow them to go cool again. And we've got some lovely 10-step broccoli. So the pan should be getting hot now. This is a really quick recipe, so I'll try and bring the pan back over to show you as we're cooking. We've got some rapeseed oil, Yorkshire produce into the pan. And we're going to start by cooking the chunkier items that need a bit longer to cook. So in first we've got the broccoli with the carrots. They're a bit of a woody texture. You can pre-boil them if you like and then chuck everything at once. But we don't really need to do that, we'll just start with these. We've just got a little bit of sizzle in the pan. So that's our broccoli and our carrots. You can of course use regular kale, you can use regular broccoli. If you want to chuck some cauliflower in there, it'll be absolutely fine. A bit of apple would be nice. Try and stay seasonal with this. I quite like using the purple colours. I think it has a nice effect at the end of the dish. So our oats, just on a low heat, just ticking away in the background, really low so they don't burn. For our dessert, and for our starter, just moving them around the large pan. They're not boiling, they're frying away. So we can add to this now, we can add to our dessert oats a tiny bit of honey and a tiny bit of butter. So I'll put that in the pan there now while our vegetables are cooking.
So I'm just going to jump in now and show you where I am with the risotto. So that's been on the stove now for about 5 minutes. So I've added 2 or 3 little spoons of stock, and you can see now where the risotto is slowly starting to absorb the liquid. It's slowly starting to cook. I'm just going to add about 100 ml of beetroot juice and put that back on the stove, and that just gives it a nice unctuous beetrooty colour and flavour. So that'll just go back on the stove now.
Our broccoli's been cooking away for 2 minutes, so we now go in with the rest of our vegetables. We'll save the nice green chard leaves till the very end, but the endive or the red chicory and the chard to go in now. So as you can see, we've got some lovely colours in there, already looking really great. Plenty of space for the vegetables to cook, which is quite important. Okay, so we're ready now for our softer leaves. These will only take a few seconds to cook really. And then we're going to deglaze the pan with a fantastic Yorkshire produce, Henderson's Relish. Very much like a Worcester sauce, but it's all suitable for vegans and it's produced in Sheffield. Regular Worcester sauce contains sort of fish and it's a more of a complex fermented fish recipe. This is a bit milder, but it's locally produced and also vegan. And when we add this, it will also add a little bit of steam, which will cook off the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so we're going to reduce the heat just while we make a very quick dressing. And again, we're going to incorporate our honey once more. So into our mixing bowl, with a whisk, we want a tiny bit of the honey, a tiny bit of cider vinegar. Cider vinegar, obviously another UK produce, and we're going to use more of the Yorkshire rapeseed oil. Good spoonful of honey. A teaspoon of the cider vinegar. Whisk together. And then 2 tablespoons of the rapeseed oil and another whisk together. Don't worry about too much about making it come together with the regular dressing, because we're only going to be using a tiny bit. So we'll leave that to one side and we'll build up our plate. We're going to pile our vegetables nice and high. Good bit of presentation. All the fantastic colours, the chards and the chicory colours coming through. they look absolutely fantastic like that. A couple more things to go on there before we finish. We have our dressing. Just a tiny bit. You can use a whisk. We're going to use some of our toasted seeds and some of the Yorkshire fine fettle. I'll bring that back out in a second and I'll hand over to Andrew with his risotto. And don't forget to get the rhubarb out of the oven.
Right, okay, so thank you, David. So, right, we are now in a situation where I've got my risotto, still boiling and bubbling away. I've taken my roast vegetables out of the oven, and they're just lovely roasted now with thyme and the garlic, and they're the roast carrot, the parsnips. But you can use anything, you can use shallots, you can use onions, you can use nabes, baby turnips, whatever you want. I'm just going to slice these up. You can leave them whole, or you can just make them a little bit smaller. Like that. So just set those to one side. Okay, so I'm just going to finish my risotto now with a couple more ingredients. So we've got the Yorkshire fettle, we've got some spring onion tops, we've got some nice herbs to go through it to make it nice and vibrant. I've just got to finish it with a little bit of cream. So you can use mascarpone, you can use some cream. If it's vegan, you can leave it out, or you can use a bit of soy milk, but the cream just gives it a nice, smooth texture and flavour. Okay? So, a couple more minutes for risotto. So there's the risotto. It's just started to thicken up now, and that pearl barley is just absorbing all those lovely flavours. So about another minute or two. Really important, you don't overcook your risotto, but it's just as important to make sure the risotto is just cooked, what we call a little bit of bite to it. Okay?
Thanks, Andrew. So I just have a camera shot there. I've just finished this dish off. I added a little bit more dressing. I've added some of the toasted pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, and then we're finished with a fine grating of the Yorkshire fettle cheese. You can use any cheese you like. You can use a vegan cheese if you like. I mean, look at it, it looks fantastic. So I'll leave this to keep warm just while Andrew finishes the risotto.
So right, so I'm using there now. Take my plate, or take a bowl, or whatever you want to use for it. Okay. So I'm going to start finishing off with a little bit of cream into my risotto. Just drop that in there. Just give that another stir for another 30 seconds. It's important not to have the herbs too early, because if you do, they become dark and really overcooked. So your herbs want to go very last minute. Just going to put my spring onion tops now. And what's happening now in that pan, risotto is just absorbing cream, and it's absorbing the last part of the stock. You want it nice and creamy, you want it nice and moist as well. So I've got my cheese ready, and my herbs ready last minute. So just last 30 seconds, just stirring it, it's just nearly finished. See there, I've got my sauce, that now leaves another 20 seconds. You can see now I've got a nice creamy sauce in there. Risotto is just lovely cooked, the pearl barley, it's all coming together quite nicely. If you want to adjust it at this time, you can add a little bit more stock or a little bit more cream if you want it to be wetter. Again, if it's too dry, just keep adding to it, or it's up to you exactly how you want it. Last finishing bits now, the herbs going to go in. Is that vibrancy, that crunch of flavour. I'm just going to put my fettle in. I'll put half of it in, and I'll save half garnish on the top. Just stir that in. Just check the seasoning, a bit more salt and pepper. It's ready to serve. And there's the risotto, there's the finished, nice and creamy, ready to serve. So, onto the plate. see all the nice flavours there. All I'm going to do is garnish it with some of my fresh herbs. A little bit more of the cheese, sprinkle that on top as well, like that. Onto my roast vegetables that I did, the carrots, the purple carrots, the parsnips, sit them on top of there like that. It's a really lovely wintry meal. Sits there like that. Followed by more spinning tops, chopped herbs. So there we have it. There's the roast winter veg, whole barley spelt risotto with beetroot and root vegetables. Okay, so David now will finish off the pudding.
Thanks, Andrew. So earlier on we drizzled our Yorkshire rhubarb in a little bit of honey. It's only just cooked, which is what we want, because otherwise it starts to really break down and lose all of its shape. If you don't want to use honey, you could just use a bit of brown sugar and that will keep it vegan. We also have some local yoghurt. You can buy coconut yoghurt and it's a fantastic product. So we can make this dessert completely vegan if we need to, okay? So all we're going to do is slice up our rhubarb. So I'll bring some over to show you in a second. And we can be a bit rough with this if we like. It's still quite hot. Ideally you want this to cool down, otherwise it will make the yoghurt a little bit runny. But we're going to go ahead and do this. So we've got a layer of yoghurt, some of our toasted oats from earlier, and a little bit of the rhubarb. And we're just going to repeat that until we finish up. That's 2 layers, and we'll do 1 more layer. And what we've actually got as well, just to finish this, is I've got a little bit of lemon balm. But you can also use, if you like, just a little bit of mint will freshen it up. The lemon balm really works quite well. Mint works equally as well. So that's our dessert. And that's our 3-course meal. So if you don't want to have the starter separate, you can share one as a side salad for your risotto. You know, serve it all at once really, keep it informal. And then finish off with a lovely Yorkshire seasonal dessert.
Thanks for watching.
Well, that's it then. Thank you very much for watching. So hopefully we've inspired you today. Hopefully you'll take these ingredients away with you. The most important thing today was, yes, it's vegetarian, but yes, support your local suppliers. There's some fantastic produce out there in Yorkshire. That's what today's all about. So from me, thank you. Look forward to seeing and hearing you cook these wonderful dishes yourself.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it too. Thank you, Andrew. Please send in any photographs if you have a go at these dishes. We'd love to have a look at them. Please don't get too hung up on the ingredients. Use whatever you like. Use it as an inspiration. Go and find at the local market some nice seasonal produce. That salad, for example, you can put anything in there. So give it a go. Thank you very much.